Hello, I'm Ted O'Neill, Conference Chair of the IF4 Asian Conference on Language Learning 2016 in Kobe, Japan. And today we're joined by our keynote speaker, Professor Stephen Ryan of Waseda University. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your presentation yesterday. It was really interesting to see the connections you were making between research and practice and what teachers know about psychology.
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed it myself. It was an interesting experience, and it's something I've always been interested in as a person, because I am both a teacher and a researcher, and making those old connections for myself has always been important, and that's what I tried to bring out yesterday, and I hope that was communicated to the audience.
Yeah, it was quite interesting how you really brought your sort of your own personal role or self as a researcher into the presentation, and that kind of struggle between those two things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a term, isn't it, me-search, that basically research is very often about me.
Yeah.
And my own research is often to help myself. That's how I got started in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's been my sort of motivation behind researching, and I think I'm not unique. Other people have the same experience, and I just want to share that with other people.
Right, right. And I think the audience could really appreciate how you were trying to make those connections between your research and what teachers are doing, and particularly you were talking about the two parts of definition of psychology, like research and individuals.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were talking about individual identity and identities in context also.
Well, that's one of the problems I find with
Yeah.
research, that it's very much decontextualized, and it's looking at people theoretically, and which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But as an actual applied discipline in your own work, I'm not really that interested in the connections. It doesn't seem to connect to me as a language teaching professional.
Yeah. Yeah, and you shared one very remarkable email message with us.
Oh, yeah.
That certainly did connect with you, and it connected with me too.
Yeah.
I really appreciated it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, that was it came in the preparation of a book, actually, that when we were thinking about writing a book, and we asked one of the most sort of knowledgeable people in the field. He's a neuroscientist. He's involved in neuroscience in UCLA. His name is John Schumann. And his thing was that actually what we're doing, it's not science. It's actually more difficult than science, because we're dealing with real people in real situations, their dreams, their hopes, their imagination, whereas science is all about the real world. And a lot of research gets hung up on this sort of inferiority complex with the natural sciences, whereas I think we can be more confident about what we're doing and say, yeah, we're not scientists, we're doing something else. And that gave me confidence.
Yeah, doing the hard stuff.
Yeah, the hard stuff.
Yeah,
Because it is hard.
it is hard.
And there are no easy answers.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that sort of the scientific perspective is very much to pin things down a definite.
Yeah.
But you were talking about one of the joys of teaching for you was its unpredictability.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, when I first became a teacher, of course, I wanted minimum preparation. I wanted to do my job, get it over quickly, and I thought it was going to be predictable, and I thought that's what a good teacher did. But then, I've been teaching a long time now, and the good thing about the job is it's different. You don't know what's going to happen. Right. And it's frustrating at times, but learning to appreciate that and learn to understand that is what research is about for me, and that's what I want to share with the audience. It's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to, things go off plan. But what you can do as a teacher, you can understand that, and that's where research comes in. Yeah. It's not telling you what's right, what's wrong. It's understanding what's happening. Right.
Yeah, so research to help you inform understanding as you're teaching, and you had a few other principles and guidelines. I mean, language conferences, teachers sometimes come looking for a really concrete takeaway, something to do on Monday, but that's really not what you were talking about at all.
No, and that's what I think is it's a kind of false hope that people, and I used to have it myself. That's why I got in research. I thought, what's the easy answer? What's the answer to this? What's the secret? Yeah. And there isn't one. What works for me may not work for you.
Right.
and may not work for any other teachers, but it works for me in this particular class. And what I can do is I can understand why it's working, why it's not working. I cannot tell other people, do this, don't do this, because some things, for example, if we talk about something like singing songs in class, if I did that, the whole class would just cringe with embarrassment and run away.
Me too.
Other people can do it.
Yeah.
And so what's in the activity, or that's not what's important. It's understanding in that particular context with those particular people.
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, I think the audience really appreciated it. And if the audience here at the conference or people viewing online want to know more about your presentation, how can they find that out?
Well, I mean, for me, the last few years I've been very busy writing 2 books. One is the title, The Psychology of the Language Learner Revisited, which is, looking back on a book that was published, a very influential book that was published around 10 years ago, and that's theoretical. And there's another book that's published with Oxford University Press that's called, the title's Exploring Language, Exploring Psychology in Language Learning. And that's more teacher-oriented, class practice-oriented, and so there's a balance there, and I think people would find something in there.
Yeah, I think many educators will find something interesting in there.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much for speaking with us today.
No, thank you for inviting me. I've had a great time here.
Okay, great. Hope you can come back next time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. And if you would like to learn more about IF4, please visit if4.org to find out more about our conferences, publications, and awards series. Thank you.